According to the NRA, America doesn't have a gun problem, but I'll tell you who does have a gun problem. Anybody who messes with this kid. Let's get started. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Hey everybody, welcome to Thumb Together. My name is Andrew Fantasia, and today we're going to be talking about Kin Together. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up and give some love to that subscribe button as well. Kin is a movie about a boy who finds a gun from aliens, and it's a big gun. And he's a little boy. So he's small and he's holding a big gun. It's like symbolism. Look, here's the thing about Kin. Kin looks like it's going to start off like something Amblin Entertainment would have put out in the early to mid 80s. You know, it looks like a kind of E.T. Flight of the Navigator kind of situation going on there. But appearances can be deceiving. And by the end of it all, it's not one of those movies. It's not really at all. It's the story of a boy named Eli. He's 14, I think, and he lives with his adopted family, the mother of which just recently passed away a few years back, the older brother of which is in prison for stealing things, and Eli just lives with his dad, who is Dennis Quaid, and Dennis Quaid is a really strict dad, and he finds a gun. Because he goes and he sells scrap, and he finds a gun in an abandoned warehouse, and it's big and alien-ish, and there's all these dead aliens sitting around, and he's like, oh shit, this is bad, and he takes the gun and he leaves, and for the rest of the movie he's just got this giant BFG just kind of sitting under his bed, and then it turns into a road trip, because Eli's brother James owes money to some very bad people. When James gets out of prison, those people are like, hey, where's our money? Some tragedies happen. Long story short, James and Eli have to hit the road, get as far away from Detroit as possible, while these gangsters chase after them. And meanwhile, Eli is packing the heat to end all heats. And that's the story of this movie, is it's a road trip of two brothers, one of whom carries a very dark secret, and the other of whom carries a very powerful alien rifle, and neither of them know about the other thing that their brother is carrying. And all the while, James Franco is a tattooed gangster who's chasing after them because he wants his money and his revenge. James Franco is probably the weakest part of the movie for me. I mean, in terms of villains, he was just super generic. He was every psychotic drug dealer villain you have ever seen in anything. Like, ever, period. Just like, hey man, I'm real crazy, you know? I just want my money. Like, that's it. Like, I just did his whole performance right there in 10 seconds. So you're not getting anything super memorable character-wise. James and Eli are both cool, and they're both played very well by their respective actors. Nobody in this movie leaves a real lasting impact on you. At least not till the very end. And speaking of the very end, I think that is my biggest qualm with Kin. It has a very big twist that happens right at the end of the third act. Something that I never saw coming, like, at all. And it really changed the game and made everything not as predictable as I thought. However, the twist doesn't expand on the plot. It just sort of exists in it, and it leaves you wishing that you could have seen the movie that twist was talking about instead of the movie you just saw, where Captain Generic McGangster James Franco chases after people with his gat and his neck tattoos. Like, imagine if I made a 90-minute long movie where I keep talking on my cell phone to random people, and then 2 minutes before the credits roll, my cell phone turns into a little transformer and is like, hey, guess what? This is a Transformers movie now. And I'm like, oh, cool, okay. And then the credits roll. Fun twist, but that movie where the phone would be like my little talking Transformer buddy who sits on my shoulder and helps me out would end up being more entertaining, at least I feel, than the movie that you just saw of me talking on the phone for 90 minutes. And that's what we get with Kin. When we find out what the gun really is all about and where it comes from, it is a beautiful moment with a really cool cameo. I'm sitting there and I'm thinking like, oh man, this is awesome. What's the story behind this? And the answer is, it doesn't matter because the movie's over now. So instead of diving into a really special, interesting world with a lot of world building that I can already see happening, and some great lore. Instead, we just watched James Franco and his neck tattoos chase after these two dudes on a road trip movie. The family dynamic, the whole family love, and with the dad and everything, the whole Amblin Entertainment dynamic of it all was sort of overshadowed by just, let's run from this gangster. So that didn't even give me a satisfying little payoff of like, well, at least this family's together and that's what's important. It didn't give me the warm fuzzies that an Amblin kind of film should. And I keep saying Amblin, this was not an Amblin film, but it was just sort of evoking that. Now maybe you're okay with that ending. Maybe this sounds to you like something awesome, in which case, please, I implore you, go see Kin. Go watch this movie. Go support this original movie that's very well acted and well shot. And, you know, it's got a lot of great things going for it. It's a nice, small, little mom and pop movie just trying to do its best. So go support that. Absolutely. I'm not harping on it and calling it shit for this twist. That's not what I'm doing at all. All I'm saying is that if the Harry Potter story had ended right after Hagrid bursts into his aunt and uncle's house and says, "You're a wizard, Harry," and then they just cut to black, not as good of a story, right? That's how Kin ends. If you're down for a very generic, a mean gangster is after me story that happens to have an alien gun in it and no lore explored to really back up that alien gun, then you'll be fine. Then you'll have a grand old time. But just be forewarned that if you're looking for a cool new sci-fi story, you're only going to get about 1% of it before the lights come on in the theater and you're left wondering, where did my story go? Kin is not bad. It's just a story told in a different way that threw me off a little and made me kind of yearn for something a little more thick with plot. But hey, it has the older brother from Sing Street in it, and he is once again playing an older brother, and that is A-OK in this guy's books. But anyway, that is Kin. That has been Thumbed Together for today. My name is Andrew Fantasia. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you here next time. Until then, adios.